If you're watching this video, then that means one of two things are true. Either you want to use makeup and cosmetics and have no idea where to begin, or you've left your YouTube autoplay on a little bit too long, and now we're both here. Either way, I'm gonna sit here screaming into a camera, and you're gonna listen and learn something, whether you like it or not. Hello, my name is Ethan Cad, and I'm a guy on the internet. I make funny little posts and sometimes draw funny little pictures, and sometimes I like to splash my face with noxious chemicals for fun and profit. Mostly for fun, let's be real. I'm still working on the second part. I like using makeup and cosmetics. It's fun, it's creative, it distracts people from the fact that I haven't updated my webcomic since 2021. But if you, like me, are an alpha male dude bro Chad, then it can be a pretty intimidating hobby to start. But don't worry, I'm gonna teach you everything I know. Which admittedly isn't a lot, but you know even less than I do, so you have no idea if what I'm saying is dumb or stupid. Which, if I'm honest, is kind of the mentality that's kept me employed for the last 10 years. So, without further ado, here are my top 5 tips for starting makeup as a dude. Or as anyone, really. The information isn't gated to any particular community, it just is. In this video, I'm going to be doing 2 things. One, I'm going to be going through the 5 tips as the clickbaity title suggests, and I'll also be going through a pretty simple beginner-friendly makeup look that you might also enjoy at home. If you don't enjoy it, keep it to yourself. Now I'm going to start this makeup look with the product I use when I begin any look that I do, and that is primer. Now, primer is a very useful tool. You can think of it as like the base coat of a Warhammer 40,000 miniature that makes all of the other pretty colors stick properly and look as it's supposed to. If you don't know enough about Warhammer 40,000 to understand what I'm talking about, you can instead think of primer as the base coat on a Warhammer Age of Sigmar miniature. You know, the first layer that makes all the other paints and colors look as they're supposed to. That's pretty much the best metaphor that I have. I don't know what you want from me. Basically, I'm just gonna rub all of this over my face, and it's gonna make me really shiny in my camera and lighting setup, and there's, quite frankly, not really a lot that I can do about that. Basically, primer gives you a really good foundation to build on top of, and gives you something to put the rest of your products onto. The first of which is actual foundation. Once that liquid foundation's on, I usually go through with a layer of pressed powder in a similar sort of tone and shade, just to even it out across my face. Sometimes I find that it can apply a little bit blotchily or unevenly or other words which I've just made up. Now while I'm just evening this up across my face, this is a perfect time to go through my first rule of doing makeup as a dude, and that is that there are no rules. But Ethan, you might say, isn't it kind of ironic that the first rule that you give is that there are, in fact, no rules? Yes, nobody can tell you what to do, not even me. For a lot of dudes, we can see makeup as like this big, scary thing that we don't understand, that's complex and convoluted, and we have no fucking idea how to begin with it. But what you have to understand is that makeup is no different to buying a 12-pack of children's acrylic paints from the Dollarama. The only difference is that one of those things is far more expensive and won't make you go blind if you put it on your face. At the end of the day, makeup is just paint, right? It's powders and pigments and colorful stuff that you put on your face. It's like painting. It's like drawing. It's like an art form of any kind. And like any art form, the only way to get better at it is by doing it. Except with this medium, you can't like trace another person's drawing or something. Like it's kind of got to happen here. And look, no matter what kind of social media you use, chances are you're going to get somebody's video somewhere telling you something along the lines of like, don't go making this one common makeup mistake, otherwise I'm going to come to your house and put you in the cube from the movie Cube. Or like some other hyper opinionated thing that just makes people angry and gets attention. Like there's no right or wrong way to do it, right? Like, there's ways that you can get the best out of your products, or, you know, use them in a way that isn't wasteful. But at the end of the day, no matter how you use them is totally up to you. Like, you can have a face full of dead white corpse paint, you can do a very subtle natural look, or something in between. Like, there's no fucking rules, alright? Like, even in this video, which is titled X Tips for Guys Trying Makeup for the First Time, or whatever clickbait title I end up going with, like, you don't have to listen to me. If I do things in a way that you don't like, or you think you can do better, you can just do that. Like, there's no fucking rules. Anyway, now that I've completely destroyed my credibility and kicked my camera tripod in a way that's going to be dramatically accurate between shots, now I'm going to explain to you that the next step in my makeup look is to use contouring powder. But not in the way you might think. Most people use contouring powder, which is a darker shade of pressed powder to give themselves a little bit more definition on their cheeks or perhaps over the bridge of their nose. But for me, I like to use it to accentuate my jawline. Now essentially what this is going to do is get a bit of a fake shadow effect on my jawline to really accentuate its natural shape. Why don't I use contouring powder on my cheeks and nose like a normal person? That's a great question. I don't know how. Now my next step is going to be using an eyeliner pencil on what's called my waterline. At least I think it's called my waterline. I've never seen it actually properly explained as such, but I've heard the term and I can only assume I'm putting things in the right place. Basically, I'm gonna take this eyeliner pencil and put it on that kind of flat fold underneath the bottom of my eyelid. Not like underneath the eyelid, but sort of on the surface, which kinda touches the eye, but also kinda doesn't. It'll make sense when you see it. So we can see here that the eyeliner pencil really makes the eye pop a little bit more, and honestly, this alone is a pretty casual look that I like to pull off when I'm going for a cruisy night on the town. But this of all places is a good chance to jump in with my second tip for first-time makeup users, and that is skincare. It's time to fucking do it. Now listen, I know I said that this video was for everyone, but I want to take a moment to speak specifically to the guys now, the cis guys like me, okay? Hey guys, Ethan here. Fellow cis guy, man-to-man talk time. I know you don't do any skincare. You don't use any products on your face, no moisturizers, no washes. You just sort of run the shower over it and that's pretty much it. And you know what? That's okay. All right? Nobody taught you. Nobody told you. This what you've got, it's all you've known. But it stops now, okay? Makeup is like paint, right? And you put paint on a canvas. But if that canvas is rough, scratchy, full of holes, trying to pull off a mustache that it thinks is gonna look okay in the long run, but nobody really has the heart to tell it that it's not really working, and Now in case you didn't get the metaphor, your face is your face is the canvas, alright? And you need to make sure that canvas is good quality. So you're gonna start washing your face from here on out, because now you have no excuse not to. If you get into a good skincare routine, then you'll have a good canvas to put that makeup on, alright? Not only that, but once you actually start building a routine of taking 5 minutes to, actually practice some self-care, you're gonna feel a lot better about yourself. Now, there's a lot of skincare products out there, and I know that a lot of them are like super confusing and use really complex terms like SPF, for dry skin only, ivory. But anyway, I'm gonna give you 3 products that you're gonna start incorporating now, okay? You're gonna use vitamin C in the morning, you're gonna use facial sunscreen during the day, and at night, you're gonna use retinol. I have it on good authority that pretty much out of every other skincare product you can get, these are the 3 biggest things that will help you. Most other things will just, leave you smelling nice or make you feel extra smooth temporarily. Not that there's anything wrong with that can actually feel pretty good too sometimes. But anyway, vitamin C, very good for your skin. Facial sunscreen, very good at protecting your face against the deadly UV rays that cause you all the skin damage in the world. I don't actually know what retinol is, but it makes me feel super smooth the day after I use it, and I haven't aged in 7 years. Now, the facial sunscreen part of this is also very important because vitamin C and retinol make your skin far more vulnerable to sun damage. Also, UV damage is really bad for your skin, so yeah, get a good facial sunscreen, incorporate it into your daily routine. Trust me, you won't regret it. Also, keep in mind I'm saying facial sunscreen very specifically. Body sunscreen and face sunscreen are 2 different things. I didn't know about this difference, but let's just say I don't get acne anymore. Now for the next part of my look, I'm gonna be putting some eyeshadow on my eyeballs. I mean eyelids. Don't put anything in your eyeballs on purpose, okay? You're gonna do it accidentally, and that is gonna be a rite of passage for you, but just don't do it on purpose. That shit fucking hurts. Now for this eyeshadow look, I am going to be using one of the more cheaper eyeshadow sets that I have. It was one of the first starter sets that I got when I was trying things out. It's a pretty cheap kind of drugstore brand that I got at Big W, I think, from memory. But in the spirit of things, I'm going to give it a try to show you it's just as good, especially if you're just starting out. Wait. Okay, you know at the start when I said that there were no rules to makeup? I lied. There is actually one pretty big rule. If it smells bad, don't use it. Just don't. I actually lied again. There's a second rule. If you use something and it makes your face burn or hurt, don't use it again. Okay, let's be real. You're gonna use it again just to make sure that it was actually that thing that you used that was causing the burning sensation, but once you use it a second time and it hurts again, yeah, then don't do it again, okay? Just don't do it. Just don't. Okay, so now that I've managed to find an eyeshadow palette that doesn't smell like it's gonna give me sepsis, you can see I've added a bit of red up here and a bit of dark brown under here. Now, I have this magical thing called hooded eyes, which means that my eyebrows can completely consume the top of my eyelids, much like so. As a result, I like to put the eyeshadow all the way up to my eyebrows so that you can actually fucking see it. This just comes down to the way that my skull is shaped, which if you ask me, is goth as fuck. In terms of the dark brown, I like to put that down on my bottom eyelid. It's kind of like the eyeliner pencil, it just, accentuates the eyes a little more. But with all that out of the way, we can move on to my third first-time makeup tip, which is the fact that store employees don't care if you live or die. So you want to start fucking around with makeup. You want to put some eyeshadow on your face, some eyeliner on your face, some lipstick on your face, but first you gotta get the damn stuff. And like, sure, you could buy it online, but there's so many buzzwords and online stores, you don't know where to look, you don't know how big it's gonna be, it's just all a hassle, right? So you go down to the drugstore physically to pick up some things, but now you're subjected to one of the most crushing feelings known to man. Being perceived by other human eyes. You're already feeling like you're gonna be judged because you're not somebody who conventionally uses cosmetics. You also don't want people to judge you because you don't know what the fuck you're doing. It's scary. I get it. But I can promise you this. The person behind the counter at the drugstore that you're going to pick up a bottle of nail polish at, they don't care. They don't give a shit. 30 minutes ago, somebody came up to their counter and tried to get a receiptless refund for a bottle of sex lube that had clearly been opened and used. I can guarantee you, you are not the biggest thing on their agenda today, nor will you ever be. Once you leave that store, less than dead, it will be as though you never existed at all. And look, chances are they're just gonna think you're buying it for a girlfriend or a sister or something. Like, I cannot stress how much it doesn't matter. When I was first getting into this, I would go to the chemist and buy like 5 beauty products, but also buy a protein bar just so the person behind the counter wouldn't judge me for being, I don't know, unmanly or fucking something like that. Like, if they're gonna judge me for being goth or feminine, they might as well think I fucking lift as well. Well, like, I do, but that's neither here nor there, huh? But trust me, no matter how much you feel like you're gonna be judged for going into a place and buying beauty products, nobody's gonna fucking care. Retail workers have enough going on. Like, you buying some nail polish or an eyeliner or a lipstick or fucking anything, they won't care. Also, speaking of buying makeup from the drugstore, there is absolutely no shame in buying drugstore makeup, especially when you are just starting out. You do not need to be using Fenty and Chanel and Kat Von D right out of the gate. You don't know what you're doing. It's fine. I know Rihanna is on all the Fenty packaging, but like, it's okay. You can work up to that. You'll get there. I still can't believe I did that protein bar thing like that. Now, the next step in my makeup look is arguably the most important, and that is the eyeliner. Now, the number one question I get on every social media platform I have is, Ethan, how do you get your eyeliner to look good? How do you get the eyeliner so straight? Like, how do you do eyeliner? Let me explain to you exactly what's going to happen between these next 2 camera shots, okay? I'm going to take this eyeliner pen into my bathroom. I'm going to draw a line on this side of my face. I'm going to draw a line on this side of my face, but this side is going to be a little bit too thick, so I'm going to even it out on that side, but now that side's going to be a little bit too thick. And so I go to even it out on the other side, but now that side's a little bit too thick. And I'm going to go through this process multiple times. I'm going to have full-fledged panda eyes, and then I'm going to have to take this entire face of makeup off and do it all again from scratch, off camera, all over again. Because I fucked up my eyeliner. And you know what? You will too. Again, and again, and again, and again. until you get it right. So anyway, long story short, it's just kind of a trial and error thing. I don't know what to tell you, man. Okay, all goofs aside, here are a couple of things that I have learned about eyeliner. Number one, it's never gonna be perfect and nobody's ever really gonna care. Like, even for me now, looking at it objectively, like, this eyeliner wing over here is a little bit longer than this eyeliner wing over here, but like, I'm looking at a camera from a 3/4 angle. Like, you're not gonna fucking know. Unless I tell you, which I did, so... And B, if you, like me, have hooded eyes, it's a really good idea to sort of just do this half-wing thing that I've been doing, as opposed to, you know, putting eyeliner all across your eye as you might see other people do. I found that with hooded eyes, if I put, you know, eyeliner on, like, the direct rim of my eye, it's just gonna, like, crunch into the top of my eyelid and just stain my face. Basically, in the past, I would put eyeliner, like, directly on the top of my eyelid, but because my eyebrows really, like, consume the top of my eyelids, like, the eyeliner would often, you know, stick to the top of my skin there and just stain things. I'm not doing a good job of explaining what the issue is, but I also said at the start of this that I wasn't an expert on anything, so you only have yourself to blame. Speaking of not being an expert in anything, here is my 4th tip for first-time makeup users. Ask yourself who your friends really are. Like, if anybody came to this video and was thinking like, oh, you know, I'm gonna get some brand recommendations, or like, here's a tip to get eyeliner wings really good, I'm sorry. This is just who I am, and this is just what I make. Every day in my mind is an existential nightmare, and through the medium of the internet, you too are now subjected to that. Now, I hope this is a piece of advice that you don't actually have to act upon. I hope that you can just mash the forward key several times and just completely skip that chapter and watch me go like, as you're like skipping forward in the dialogue, but... you know, if you're like me, this might be something you have to think about. Here's a bit of history. I started fucking around with my makeup when I was in my 20s, right? Like, I am ambiguously between the age of 20 to 30, and somewhere at the halfway point of that, that's where I started fucking around with whatever this is. Now, have I had a great time fucking around with makeup? Absolutely. It's taught me so much about who I am, like what I am as a person, like what I like in the world. Now, would I have started experimenting with this kind of stuff 5 to 10 years ago? Fuck no. I mean, 10 years ago, I probably would have been, like, a little bit too young, so let's go back to that 5 years. 10 might be a stretch. Now, let me give you some perspective. I grew up on a diet of video games that included Counter-Strike Global Offensive, League of Legends, and early competitive Overwatch. Now, none of those things might seem too bad on their own, but if you surround yourself constantly with the kinds of people that engage with this media and nothing else, you can think about the exact kind of shitty teen gamer boy that I both was and surrounded myself with. I never considered doing anything like this when I was younger. It did not even read to me as a possibility that this kind of thing was allowed. I know for a fact that if I ever tried anything like this when I was younger, there would be pictures of my face on the cringe humor Facebook pages that we all used as a substitute for having an actual sense of humor. When I was younger, I didn't have a safe environment to try anything like this. The people I chose to surround myself with would never have let me get away with it without scorn, derision, or mockery. I'm not going to lie to you. Those kinds of people exist in the world, but you only need to give them as much attention as you are willing to give them. You don't have to surround yourself with people who don't like you, nor do you have to surround yourself with people you don't like. If this is something that you are interested in experimenting with, interested in trying for whatever reason, right? Your journey is your own, okay? I want you to ask yourself, would this make you feel happier? Would this make you feel alive? Would this make you feel more like yourself? And no matter what the answer to any of those things are, I want you to ask, what's stopping you? 9 times out of 10, no matter who you surround yourself with or who's in your social circle, you have to ask yourself, am I the only person that's stopping me from trying this? Anyway, on an entirely unrelated note, my red lipstick of choice is the official Marvel The Eternals movie tie-in branded lipstick that I don't think you can actually buy anymore. And just like that, we're pretty much done. One of my favorite things to do with lipstick is to match up a black and a solid color, and let's just all take a moment to appreciate it, because the more I talk, the more it's going to disappear. Beauty fades. That's lesson number 5, kids. That's actually not true. I'll get to that in a sec. Now that everything is more or less in place, I've used a setting spray to give it an extra layer of protection. This just gives the makeup another guard against wear and tear and will hopefully keep it on my face a little bit longer, even though I'm sitting in a hot room talking to a camera. Normally I completely forget to use it, but today is special because today I'm here with you. It always takes me a minute to get used to talking with lipstick. I feel like my lips are like sticking together. And now that the look is complete, I can give you guys my 5th and final tip for first-time makeup users. And that is that nobody on the internet is real. Not even me. I think this is something that is really important to remember, like, not just if you're somebody who doesn't conventionally use makeup, using makeup and posting themselves on the internet, like this is just something that I've internalized and it's increased my life satisfaction tenfold. Let's just be real. Like, social media is built in such a way that it favors the loud, the angry, and the vicious. Like, we all know this by now, right? I wear makeup on the internet all the time, and people say awful things to me all the time. I have a smartwatch, and I've very actively been trying to keep that off camera because sometimes I get notifications of Instagram comments that I simply I don't want you to see them. Even if you're not like me and you don't post fashion content on the internet, chances are you've seen a post that's been recommended to you with 10,000 likes that just says, like, I hate gay people with, like, a soy jack or whatever. And I'll be real with you. People will always say this kind of stuff. People will always say this kind of stuff to you, but they say it so frequently and with such a ferocity that it is completely inconsequential. Let me give you an example. Here's a funny little video that I posted to Instagram. At time of recording, this thing has 2.6 million views, right? Fucking humble brag, but It has given me some of the most vile, hate-filled comments that I have ever received in my entire life. In the comments of that video, people have told me again and again that God hates me, that they cannot wait until I become a suicide statistic, that I'll never be a real woman. And, like, that's awful, right? That's terrible, horrible, no good, very bad. But I also have videos on my page where I look like this, 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 and this. I'm being called the worst homophobic slurs on a video where I am trying on a jacket that just happens to have an unfortunate design choice. Like, if they scrolled 2 videos down or up at this point, they could find the most explicitly queer, gender non-conforming, like, feminine boy content that the internet has to offer. And yet, that's the one they're yelling at me on. Huh? But, like, that's the thing that you sort of got to take away from this. The people who say these vile, horrible, hate-filled things aren't even giving in an effort that's worth your time. Like, if you're gonna cyberbully me and call me a gay little rat, you might as well go to one of the videos where I am, in fact, a gay little rat. And, like, if they're not even going to be putting in the effort to cyberbully me, then why should I give them any of my attention in response? And you know what these people are doing after they spew the most hate-filled, regurgitated rhetoric they are? They scroll on to the next video, and then the next, and then the next, and by the 4th video, they've completely forgotten your face, and they never even cared all that much to begin with. People on the internet are cruel and mean, but they do not matter. They don't even put in the effort to actively hate you. Their hate is ambient. It is there, it is festering within them, they spew it out indeterminately, and it doesn't matter. And also, I don't know if you knew this fun little trick that every single social media app has ever, but you can press a little button, and these people, they're gone forever. It's called the block button, and you can use it as many times as you need to. I myself am more of a personal fan of the restrict button that Instagram has, because that doesn't block them entirely. They can still see all of your posts, but if they ever try to, espouse some vile, hateful rhetoric in your comment section, it just disappears into the ether. Their screams into the void go as unheard as they would be, even if they were able to comment them at full blast. And I promise you, no matter how many vile, hateful people are out there on the internet, there are so many people who have love care and compassion in their hearts that are so much more worth your time. And I promise you, those people outnumber the haters 1,000,000 to 1. And I know this because I'm one of them. The compassionate ones, not the haters. I mean, well, I guess it all depends. I can be a bit of a hater sometimes, but that's besides the point. And so we have officially come to the end of my 5 esoteric life advice tips for good mental health and positive online interactivity, or whatever the fucking clickbait title of this video ended up being. I'm gonna be honest, I've been vamping for like 30 minutes now. If you enjoyed this video or found it helpful, or even if you thought this video made you feel a little less alone, don't forget to smash that like and subscribe. That's sociopathic. Anyway, if you like this video, tell a friend about it. Share it on X. That's right, I call it X. The world I live in is a nightmare, but at least I know that the monsters are real. If you don't want to do that, because why would you, give me a follow on Instagram and TikTok, where I'll be undoubtedly chopping this video up into bite-sized 30-second clips and posting them over the next 2 months. But in any case, do the things that make you happy, make the decisions that give you your best you, be true to yourself, and yeah.